crazy?
Stop fooling around, man.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Greetings, my friend.
All right, let's bring everyone up to speed.
Never come back again.
Oh, shut up, Ralph.
Ooh.
It's got a death curse.
Love it or hate it, Friday the 13th is an iconic film in an iconic franchise.
How many Friday the 13ths do you think there are each year?
Wait, what? I mean, pushing an arrow up into a mattress and through a human body, it's no easy task. Or so I've been told. It's almost beat for beat ripped from Halloween, but in the dumbest way possible. It's a frail old lady. God damn it. A bunch of camp counselors arrive at Camp Crystal Lake in an effort to reopen the facility. Back in the day, a kid named Jason drowned in the lake due to some negligent supervision, and ever since there have been quote-unquote incidents preventing the camp from being used.
You're doomed if you stay here.
Crazy Ralph tries to warn the newcomers, but nobody takes him seriously.
This place is cursed. Cursed.
One by one, the staff are killed off until we find out that Jason's mom is the crazed murderer who has been keeping the camp closed.
Oh, I couldn't let them open this place again. Could I? Not after what happened.
She is beheaded by final girl Alice Hardy, who goes nuts and hallucinates Jason rising from the lake before being taken to the local hospital.
All I want is to just forget it. I can't. I'll never forget that horrible face. Never.
Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnic Vogon Jeffs, and it's Friday the 13th, Part 2. That's all you need to know. Let's not dick around and waste time. Here we go! All right. Okay, so we've already established that Part 1 is the highest rated movie of the series. That should already be a bit of a red flag for every other movie, but in case you're not convinced about which way this franchise is heading, let's talk about the opening of Friday the 13th Part 2. The runtime for the second installment is approximately 85 minutes. That's not the worst thing in the world, the length of a movie doesn't dictate its quality. However, the first 12 minutes of Part 2 are devoted to flashbacks of the first movie,
We've been through all of this before.
a cheap feline jump scare, and the death of Alice Hardy after she finds Mrs. Voorhees' head in her fridge. 12 fucking minutes. 14 if you count the opening credits. That leaves us with roughly 71 minutes to establish characters, develop a coherent plot, and deliver a satisfying follow-up to a batshit crazy first installment. Instead of doing any of those things, writer Ron Kurz and director Steve Miner decided to give us a slightly tweaked rehash of the original movie.
I told the others. They didn't believe me. You're all doomed.
5 years after the events of the first 10 minutes of this movie, Paul, another lanky, older authority figure who happens to be involved in a relationship with the blonde protagonist, opens a school for camp counselors on Crystal Lake. On their first night, they all gather by the campfire to hear Paul tell the story of Jason and how he took revenge on Alice.
No one knows what happened to her. Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night, and he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again.
Which begs the question, why even include that 12-minute prologue? A campfire story like this would have been perfect exposition to bridge the two movies. It even adds a bit of mystery to the initial killings. Was Paul right? Is Jason out for revenge? But no, we already know that shit happened because who else would put Pamela Voorhees' head in Alice's fridge? Anyway, Crazy Ralph gets killed before he can warn the counselors, a police officer chases a mysterious man for no reason and stumbles on his forest shack before getting a hammer to the skull.
Anybody wants a last night on the town, now's your chance.
A bunch of counselors head into town to get hammered in a different way. We get some tits and ass, because no 80s horror movie is complete without tits and ass. Retro Linda Cardellini tries to bone a cripple,
Want to stay together tonight?
who soon after gets a machete to the face. And then everyone who didn't go to town gets picked off by a sack-hooded Jason. And then Paul and Ginny return from town and get attacked by Jason. Paul is incapacitated and Ginny is caught up in a lengthy chase sequence. She almost gives Jason the slip by hiding under a bed until she spots a rat and pisses herself. Yeah, the rat scared the piss out of her, not the homicidal maniac trying to kill her. The rat. Oh, for fuck's sake. She manages to slip away from Jason again and runs into the forest where she stumbles on his forest shack. What are the odds? She barricades herself inside and finds a shrine to Jason's mother. Ginny does the only sensible thing and dresses up like Pamela Voorhees to psychologically manipulate
Jason! It's all done, Jason. You've done your job well and Mommy is pleased. Mommy
has a reward for you.
And it actually works. Oh my god, it actually works.
That's my good boy. Good Jason.
Momentarily. Jason eventually sees through the charade.
Sorry, what?
Jason eventually sees through the charade and slices Ginny's leg. But it's okay, because she bought Paul enough time to regain consciousness and make his way out into the forest, where he too would stumble upon Jason's incredibly conspicuous forest shack. More fighting, Jason gets the upper hand, and Ginny lodges a machete in Jason's shoulder. Paul and Ginny escape the poorly hidden shack and make their way to safety, but then Jason breaks through a window and grabs Ginny. Fade to white. Ginny is strapped to a gurney and taken away in an ambulance while asking,
Where's Paul?
Which is a great question, Ginny. What the f*** happened to Paul?
Okay, B-blow.
Alright, I'm gonna spend about as much time analyzing this movie as the creative team spent developing it.
Oh, really?
It's fine. If you enjoyed the first movie and just wanted a bit more, then it checks all the boxes. It feels tonally adjacent and expands the Crystal Lake mythos.
Let's try to think beyond the legend, put it in real terms.
Steve Miner does a decent job with the direction. The acting is on par with the original, and the two most important elements, the kills and the tits, are somewhat improved over the original movie. Kind of. I mean, they aren't substantially better, but they don't feel like a downgrade either. It's an incredibly safe sequel that sacrifices originality for formula. Hell, even the ending follows in the footsteps of the first movie's nonsensical quote-unquote twist ending.
What a twist!
I get it, it's a metaphor for the protagonist's mental state, again, but it's so poorly executed that all it really delivers is confusion.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Ah well, they did it twice. It's not like they're gonna cop out with this same nonsense ending in part 3, right? It certainly seems like Steve Miner learned from his mistakes in part 2. Yes, this installment begins with another recap, but this one is only about 5 minutes instead of the mind-numbing 12 we got last time around. And it introduces new footage of Jason removing the machete from his shoulder. It's still kind of pointless, but at least it's over relatively quickly. The same can't be said for the 10-minute opening scene that does literally nothing other than establish that, yes, Jason is indeed still alive and on the loose. And thankfully, this isn't another movie about camp counselors. Instead, about 16 minutes into the movie, we are introduced to Chris Higgins, aka Retro Brie Larson, which is an instant 1-point deduction. She and her friends are heading out to her family's lake house for the weekend. The only problem? The lake house is located on Crystal Lake. Dun dun dun! Chris is accompanied by sex-obsessed Andy and his pregnant girlfriend, Debbie, along with awkward Shelley, his blind date Vera, and two potheads, Chuck and Chili. On their road trip to Higgins Haven, the teens pass the roadside convenience store where Jason murdered that couple at the beginning of the movie.
Chris, stop the van! What? Stop!
And then almost run over an old man laying in the middle of a dirt road. He's basically a stand-in for Crazy Ralph, and warns the teens of their impending fates using a severed eyeball.
What is that?
I found this today.
That's an eyeball!
But he said he wanted me. Go back from whence ye came. I have warned thee!
Listen, it's stupid. It just serves as a shameless way for the film to shoehorn in more 3D gimmickry. That's right, Friday the 13th Part 3 was filmed and released in 3D. You know what that means? It means it's 3D montage time.
I have warned thee.
Everyone settles in at Higgins Haven, and Chris is surprised by an old romantic fling.
Could you just slow down, please? There's a whole weekend ahead of us. Let me get to know you again.
Okay. There's only so many cold showers I can take.
God, how old is this guy? He looks like he's in his 30s. I know teens from the 70s and 80s looked older than modern teens, but this is ridiculous. Anyway, Chris and her 40-year-old lover, Rick, are interrupted by a nearby scream. They rush to see what's happened and find Shelley with an axe jammed into his forehead.
Oh, is he dead? Don't touch him, Andy.
Don't move him.
Creep. Oh, my.
I guess I fooled you, huh?
What a prankster. Shelley and Vera borrow Rick's car and head out to another local convenience store, one that hasn't been attacked by Jason. And they are immediately confronted by a gang of street toughs, some badass bikers.
Excuse me, but I believe that's my wallet.
I'll take that now.
Is this your rubber?
On their way out of the store, Shelley accidentally crashes into their bikes and starts a feud. Oh, and it turns out Jason is hiding out inside of Chris's barn. Unbeknownst to Chris and her crew, the street toughs followed Shelley and Vera back from town with plans on getting revenge by burning down the barn. Fox and Loco head into the barn as Ali siphons the last of the fuel from Chris's grape van. Needless to say, Jason makes quick work of both of them with a couple pitchforks. When Ali comes looking for them, Jason bludgeons him repeatedly. He could kill him, but it's essential for the third act climax that he not do that. So he doesn't. Later that night, Andy and Debbie get their freak on, and Shelley gets rejected by Vera.
I like you a lot. I was thinking that maybe, we could...
I don't think so.
And Chris recounts a traumatic experience she had 2 years earlier to Rick.
My mom slapped me.
You see, she actually had a run-in with Jason and survived.
I turned around. And standing there was this hideous-looking man.
It affected her so much that she left Crystal Lake and has only now returned as a way of confronting her fears.
He had a knife. And he attacked me with it.
This is boring.
He dragged me along the ground.
Boring!
I don't know what happened after that. I just don't know.
Let's speed this along a bit. Shelley doesn't know how to flirt and scares the shit out of Vera. She's pissed, and he's all down on himself about being a loser.
Just want you to like me.
I do like you.
So he goes off and gets killed. Then Jason shows up wearing Shelley's hockey mask. Finally. He shoots Vera in the eye with a spear gun, crotch slices Andy before stowing him in the rafters, and stabs Debbie from beneath a hammock. Jason then proceeds to electrocute Chuck and impale Chili with a hot fireplace poker. Which, honestly, after her lackluster performance in this scene, I probably would have done the same. Chris and Rick return to the house, but no one seems to be home. She gets nervous when Rick heads outside and leaves her alone. Sorry, Chris. Rick is busy getting his head crushed. In 3D! After finding some bloody clothes in the bathtub, Chris heads outside to find her boyfriend, only to be surprised by Loco's body falling down from a tree. Are you shitting me? What is with bodies falling from trees in this franchise? This is so f***ing stupid. Chris returns to the house and repeatedly calls out for Rick.
Rick! 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 Where are you?
So Jason tosses him in through a window. He probably wasn't too impressed with a 40-year-old dude roaming around in his mother's sweater. Jason chases Chris around the house for a bit until she decides to fight back. She stabs his hand and his leg, and even gives him a knock upside the head with a wood log. None of it is enough to stop the lumbering behemoth, so she hops in her van and makes a run for it. But oh no, the van is out of gas. Jason catches up and attacks her, so she winds the window up and oh, for the love of Pete. Are we being for real here? Chris tries to hide in the barn. That doesn't work. She knocks Jason out and tries to hang him. That doesn't work. Ali regains consciousness and distracts Jason for a couple seconds before getting his hand chopped off. See, I told you he was coming back. Not for long, obviously. Jason hacks him to pieces without hesitation. But it's a long enough distraction for Chris to grab an axe and drive it into her pursuer's head. That doesn't work. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it does. For some reason, Chris then decides to take a boat out onto the lake and fall asleep. She wakes with a start the following morning. Getting spooked by driftwood and ducks. And Jason! He's alive! Or is he? And then Pamela Voorhees rises from the lake and drags her under. Or did she? No, she didn't. It's another bullshit ending. Chris has gone mental just like Ginny and Alice before her. Jason is finally dead, the trilogy is complete, the end, forever. Friday the 13th Part 3 is the worst of the initial trilogy.
You don't have to say it. I could tell.
It's a noticeable downgrade in nearly every possible way. The production quality takes a noticeable dip, which has been blamed on the completely unnecessary inclusion of 3D nonsense. There is a clear drop in visual fidelity from the first two movies. Numerous shots are obscured by debris or film defects, and the gimmicky 3D shots do nothing but distract from the story. I mean, they're fun in a goofy what the f is going on kind of way, but that's about it. The script is boring and the plot is half-baked, mundane dialogue is performed poorly by a forgettable cast, and tropes established in parts 1 and 2 are overused to the point of unintentional parody. On top of all of this, there is a severe reduction in the on-screen presence of tits and ass. And I'm not blind, I know that a nipple or two make an appearance. It's not that there is zero TNA, it's that it's significantly reduced. Boo! The most notable elements from this movie are that 1, it's the movie where Jason finally gets his iconic hockey mask, and B, it makes me appreciate parts 1 and 2 more than I should. This was supposed to be the third and final movie, the conclusion of the Friday the 13th trilogy. And honestly, it probably should have been. That's not a critique of the later movies in the series, but rather an honest assessment of where this franchise was by the third installment. 3 movies with the exact same ending. And you're telling me people were clamoring for more? Yeah, give us another movie that ends with the protagonist being psychologically damaged and admitted to a hospital. I know that these movies are thinly veiled allegories for the trauma of abuse. Part 3 nails this one in with the subtlety of a sledgehammer, but surely there are different ways of expressing this. Surely there are more creative ways of resolving these stories. Or at the very least, throw Corey Feldman into the mix and turn the whole thing into some sort of prescient meta-commentary. Can we at least do that? Can we?
God, I'm horny.
I'm not an asshole. I'm an actor.
Same thing.